Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Frankly, I should have been here for the inauguration of the opening. Because of my travel, I could not make it. I apologize for that. So I feel great honor that I'll be able to participate in closing ceremony, closing meeting. As I'm sure all of you will agree with me if I say that governance of public administration is extremely important. And without this good public administration governance, there will be chaos. Everything hinges on it. No matter how good your strategy or policy may be, but without good governance, without public administration, you won't get anywhere. That said, I think we have to, because the evolving situation, world is changing, nothing stands still. We need to improve our public administration, improve the governance all the time. That's why we need an expert like you to provide advices. Needless to say, whatever recommendations you provide, those should conform with the United Nations Charter and the norms governing international relations, and particularly the CEPA as a body of the United Nations. We must set examples in complying with the provisions of UN Charter. Otherwise, we may be drawn into controversies. You know better than I do as experts on that. So, Mr. Chairperson, distinguished members of the committee, now I'm pleased to be with you as we approach this close of the CEPA's 10th session. It has been quite an intensive week of reflection. I must congratulate you not only on your erudition, but also on your stamina. This is a serious group, and let us now ensure that the member states take note of the results of your hard work, just as the Secretariat has done. The main purpose of this session was to express in concrete terms how to organize public governance to accelerate progress towards development goals. The session was also meant to review the activities of the United Nations system in public administration so that we can better assist national governments and other development actors. I believe that to a large extent the committee has fulfilled its objectives. The discussion has been quite valuable thanks to the generous sharing of experiences, analysis, and insights. I understand that you will now prepare draft recommendations for ECOSOC's consideration. Let me briefly share with you what I understand to be some of the main messages from the last few days. First, public governance frameworks are necessarily multifaceted. Since we live in multifaceted societies with many interdependent stakeholders, public governance mechanisms must involve political leaders and public institutions, include private sector and civil society actors, and adhere to principles of democracy and mutual accountability. Second, the United Nations assistance in building state capacity in post-conflict and post-disaster situations specifically calls into play important intergenerational questions. Needless to say, any request for capacity building should be done upon the request of the country or government concerned. We cannot impose any capacity building onto anyone. Reconstruction of public administration after conflict and disaster can take 20 years or more, and we must recognize that people living in the aftermath of conflict and disaster may be concerned more than anything with security and economic development for all. Third, social protection for vulnerable populations may be one element of a recovery plan, indeed, of any national development strategy. inclusion, and engagement are universal goods. Though basic public administrators that do not set national policies, they can configure regulations and practices to inhibit exclusion and abuse while promoting human capacity through local education and other means. Fourth, in managing performance, there is no one best practice. Performance management is contextual, and countries in different economic, political, and social conditions require different advice. Some innovation, even some audacity may be helpful. Yet, at its most basic, performance management is dependent on a culture of responsibility in government and in society. Above all, governance systems must promote socially relevant results. Thus, one should begin with educational systems and instill civic values and train civil servants in public management. Indeed, the United Nations Public Service Awards offer an excellent opportunity to identify and reward innovations in this area. Finally, I note that you are impressed with the work of UNDESA in the field of public administration, and you would like to see even more of it, in particular in the form of studies, guidelines, and other knowledge-sharing outputs. That sounds like a good news, ideas. Please convey this message to ECOSOC and impress them. I very much look forward to reading the final report and seeing the committee's recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Chair.